good, sometimes they're not. But if you know you're rolling with the crew that has bring you back every single time, hug them up right now and start to sing.
I'll be there when the ship leaves the harbor.
It's super fast. It's super dangerous. Super expensive. Once you hit the water, anything can happen. So why do we do it?
We do it for the love. We do it for the love.
We do it for the love.
We do it for the love.
We do it for the love.
And we love to see it. The 56th annual Great Race is happening on the 17th of August. And this morning, Jonathan Tardieu, the president of the TT Powerboats Association, joins us on the Now Morning Show to tell us about the super expensive, super risky, but super exciting competition. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Morning. Welcome for having me.
Oof.
Thanks.
That is the most apt and honest promo I've ever seen, because that is the truth. We were saying during the commercial break that it goes so quickly. Sometimes I'm very accustomed to it. It's very iconic, but the details of the prep, the work that goes into it, and how quickly the race goes by can be lost on the average person. So what are we looking forward to on this, the 56th occasion of the Great Race? How are we upping the ante?
This year we're working feverishly with Tobago. As you all would know, there's no longer a Great Fete weekend this year. So they've shifted a lot of the attention to Great Race weekend. Well, back to Great Race weekend. So we've been working with the Tobago Festivals Commission this year. They wanted to get involved and make, along with the THA, to make this a weekend of events. So we have our sponsor Carib as well as NLCB chipping in with these guys, and I think the parties are going to start from Friday. When we get across, when the boats, whoever finishes there, we have a prize giving ceremony that's going to happen at Storby, and we're going to have the Tobago Festivals Commission do some cultural stuff as well and incorporate that into our event, so that the Great Race gets a little bit more of the Tobago flavor involved in it. Yeah.
Now, this morning, I kind of casually mentioned that it goes between the two islands, but outline again for us the route, because it literally does go from Trinidad to Tobago.
Correct. So the race starts off at the foreshore, just off the foreshore, and we'll make our way up the north coast. We stop in at Maracas. Hopefully nobody has to get breakfast there, right? But from there, we'll make our way up the Grand River and then across to Tobago and finish in Storby.
Right. Now, you mentioned that there will be cultural aspects, elements rather, added to the race itself.
Yeah.
Will that will take place in Tobago, and therefore it will be on land so that everybody can witness. Is it something that we have to pay to enter or witness or participate in?
No. All the events of the weekend are free. Like I said, we have access to the Storby facility, and that's where all events are going to be taking place. I think even on a Sunday there's another event as well that will be between, I think, 1 and 5 p.m. So, and that's open to the public. Anyone can come and view.
Meanwhile, the race itself is expecting at least 20 participants.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit as to the prize structure, because while I may not have a boat and be able to participate now, anybody aspiring towards the title of winning the Great Race might be. So tell me a little bit about that part of things, the race itself.
Right. So the Great Race has kind of changed a bit over the years. So whereas before we used to have one overall winner, now you have 7 different classes. So we now have a winner for each class, right? Before we never used to have, now we have a speed limit on the boats, which is what you're classified by. Whereas before we didn't have that. It was just classes and then different specifications and so on. We have the smallest classes, which will be a little 20-foot boats, which for people who don't know is very small, with a single outboard, and that's one of the most affordable classes. You have people with down the islands boats. We have a cruiser class which does 50 mile an hour. So anybody with a pirogue or a boat, we open it up so that anyone can enter.
This means then that the prize giving ceremony might be a little bit longer, but for those of us who aren't in Tobago and want to watch on, is there any way that we could tune in and virtually be a part of this?
The prize given, usually we'll have the radio coverage of the race itself. The prize giving ceremony, not so much. We'll probably get some updates on our Facebook page, TTPBA, but we don't have the live stream
Just yet.
I'm
saying just yet because an iconic part of the Great Race experience was actually the parade through the streets of Port of Spain. And that usually is televised, well, when years gone by. Will we be able to see that and virtually enjoy that as well?
Those are things we've been working on, but, you know, as you all know, technology isn't cheap, right? So, I think coming out of COVID, we are now starting to gain a little momentum getting back sponsors because the TTPBA, we're an NGO. So we depend heavily on funding from sponsors and the government. So going forward, we'd like to get the live streaming. We've actually been in contact with a company who wanted to do it for this year, but it just was not in the budget. So we had to kind of not shelve it, but push it back a little bit and see what we can do for next year.
Right, just not yet.
And
that means that we have more to look forward to because after 56 years, it's really going to be a case of what you can do to enhance the experience for the persons who are watching on. Maybe that simple addition of being able to view it virtually might be it. Now, Jonathan, in terms of being an NGO and needing that sort of support, would there be any sort of particular entities you guys target or focus on perhaps collaborating with in the near future?
We depend heavily on corporate Trinidad to come out and support. We do have applications in with the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, who they've been working with us to see how going forward, what can happen and how best we can get funding, because I know in the past that powerboat racing seems to be a rich people's sport, which really and truly it's not. Just like car racing or any other racing, it really depends on your priorities and where you want to put your money, right? It's a hobby that can be affordable if you do it right. So in saying that, you know, we do depend heavily on our sponsors.
Now, granted that you have mentioned that the change opening up to smaller boats and smaller vessels creates it or makes it more accessible for other persons. Let's talk a little bit about the regulations around it. There is now a speed limit. There will be specifications for the size of vessels and things of that sort. Are we looking at perhaps lobbying towards legalities surrounding it to make it more affordable, to make it more invested or more attractive, I should say, to investors like the government and others? Are there any sorts of conversations to have that sort of support?
I know in the past that corporate Trinidad, once you do sponsor the NGO, there's a certain tax break that you get that the government makes allowable for those companies.
To these entities.
Yeah. So
hopefully that works in our favor.
yeah. So.
And in that case, I am looking forward to the 57th and beyond. But anything else that you want to make sure that you add so that we come on out and support on the 17th of August as we could watch it from the foreshore, or even if we're lucky enough to be in Tobago, participate a bit?
Yeah, like I said, this year is going to be a weekend of events, and the guys have been working feverishly on their boats to try to make it to Tobago. So anybody that comes out, you can come out to watch whether you can make it to Tobago or not. Like I say, it starts at the foreshore. We also stop into Maracas. They have a lot of vantage points passing through Chaguaramas as well. So just, you know, try and find your way down there, make your way down there and see some of these guys, you know, guys like the legendary Mr. Solo and stuff.
I was just
It's
going to
be out there.
If you don't know Mr. Solo, you're too young, and you should tune in to the Great Race happening this weekend, the 17th of August. And as he mentioned, we can see it here from our shores, or if you're in Tobago. So technically, continuing the legacy, continuing to be iconic, and joining the two islands together through hot waters. Because when you see them get airborne, it's going to be amazing. So guys, tune in now. Well, actually, it's a show near you. But for now, we say thank you very much to Jonathan for joining us this morning, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association. Best of luck with the race this weekend. Enjoy, and you guys can enjoy some entertainment when we return here on the Now Morning Show.
Friends, friends, friends. We all have them, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But if you know you're rolling with the crew that has bring you back every single time, hug them up right now and start to sing.
I'll be there when the ship leaves the harbor.
Seven, 8, 9, 10.
Summer, just come on side here first. Just now.
Yes, sir.
And then 4 for the crown, okay?
Come forward. To tell them. Main music na po.
And help remain 4. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Can you count again first?
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Can you play? Play first.
Two.